So here I'm using Algonquin as my paint wash. I just put a little bit of Algonquin paint in from Fusion in the bottom of my cup. I really don't measure, just a little bit, and then I put about 5 times as much water. I brush it on a section at a time, so I'm going from one side to the next, one end to the next, and I get a nice smooth brushed on coat. Then I take my blue shop towel and I wipe that back, and then I go to the next section. I do that over the whole entire piece, trying not to overlap too much, but definitely trying to connect my stripes or strips that I'm working on. The wet part that I wiped back does look a little orangish, but don't worry, once it dries, that paint wash soaks in and it dries, it looks fabulous. Paint washes help to get rid of that yellow tone or orange tone and create a coat or a barrier there so that when you go to top coat, then it will pretty much stay the same color. That's the plan anyway. You can see I use my shop towel, then I unwrap it and use the inside of the shop towel. So here I'm just dusting off the arch cabinet, taking a little damp cloth and making sure all the dust is off of that. I've already prepped it in part 1, so if you haven't seen part 1, take a look at that. I've already scuff sanded and I'm just wiping off the dust. You see those 2 boards over there? I'm getting ready to prime the frame of the arch cabinet and those 2 boards. I think I'm going to put those in the ends there at the bottom or on the sides. But I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to keep the glass there or if I want to use this wood. So I'm going to go ahead and prep them and prime them and paint them and see what I like. So I'm using Insulax by Aqualock, and it is a black primer. I love to use a black primer when I'm using really dark colors or black. It prevents bleed through. It helps with adhesion. So if you ever want to try Aqualock, I encourage you to do so. I'm using my Wagner Flexio 5000 and I'm just trying it out on a piece of cardboard to make sure I have a nice wet film and I don't have splatters or anything else. So here I am, ready to prime. I'm going to prime one side of the board first, prime the whole arched cabinet, and then I'll flip the boards over. They will be dry enough that I can prime the second side. I definitely got a leg workout going up and down that ladder many times during the prep process and the painting process and the reassembly, which you'll see later in the video. When you think about painting this or priming this piece, it just seems like, oh, it's just a frame, go over and paint that frame. It's not a lot of surface area. But all of the insides and outsides and crevices, it just takes a lot of time. Since the paint is also going to be black, This is the only footage you will see of me actually painting with my sprayer, because I'm not going to show you black on black painting. That would be pretty boring. So I'm using Farmhouse Paint, clear coat, and satin to top coat my paint wash on the backboard after it's dried. I love this top coat. It's a nice, easy to use top coat, easy to brush. I've brushed it before, easy to spray, and the satin finish is just lovely. Here you can see I have a whole gallon of this, our Farmhouse Evolution paint in bold black. I do use black a lot, so I figured I better get a gallon. So when I'm getting ready to spray, I add a little bit of water to my paint, mix it up really well, and put it in my spray cup. You can see I have a filter there that I filter all the little pebbles or imperfections or something that I don't want to show up on my paint job. So I'm going to stir this very well. You can see my little yellow spout there. Love this. It's under $2, and it keeps the paint out of that rim in your paint can. I love it. So usually I pour my paint in that cup that I took away. Then I put some water in it to thin it, and then I put it in my filter to go in my spray cup. Well, I decided I'd just add the water afterwards, which made it very slow going down that paint strainer. So I had to add a little more water to my paint strainer. And then here you can see it's painted. So we're in the process of putting the glass back in. So one piece at a time, my husband would go get the glass, put it in the right place. We had it all marked. And then I would use the rubber strips that I had marked as well. And you just push them in the edges, the crevices that are right next to the window pane or the glass pane. It works so well. I couldn't believe it, actually. This process of reassembling all the glass panels took quite some time, and I'll show you certain aspects of it, but I don't show you every single panel that I put in. And the first one's in, so you have to celebrate. There's always a good time to celebrate when something goes right. My husband is 1 foot taller than me, so makes it pretty handy. I have to get up on that ladder a couple steps, and he just stands there and holds the glass in. Very helpful. So the next step, I needed to decide if I wanted those black pieces of board in the side panels or if I wanted it to be glass. So we decided to bring the backboard in, put it up against the back so I could see how that black panel looked against the backboard. So here comes the panels, and guess what? I decided I didn't want to use them. We did get the backboard. I nailed that in with my nail gun. I forgot to turn on the camera during that part. Very annoying, but it went on pretty well, pretty easily. It had a crevice right there, and it was nailed in no time. So here I am. We have the last glass panel that I'm putting in the retainer strips for. So I'm taking that all the way around the door and going around the other side, and then that will be the last rubber retainer that will go in that glass. And here I'm going to celebrate. And here we have my other little fur baby, Mandy. She needed to take a look and make sure it was okay. I think it gets her stamp of approval. And she's going to dance too. Time to install the hardware. I just chose one black long handle. I just think it blends in so well. I didn't want something gold that kind of stuck out. I just wanted it to blend in and be beautiful and functional. It was being a bit contrary, but I finally got it. It was time to put the light fixture back in. You can see I have all my staging done. I had painted the outside of the light fixture black. And so while it was drying, I decided I'd stage everything up. We got the light in, and now it's ready. Just a reminder, at the outdated arched cabinet with the yellow-orange oak and the mirror in the back, and now what it looks like. I am so over the moon at how good this looks, and it sold in less than a day to a former customer.